My name's Kristal and I'm the owner of Coastal Lawyers, and you work with me. You recently completed a master's degree, is that right?
I did. I just recently completed my Masters of Applied Law in Wills and Estates.
Woohoo! And all with a little baby in tow, so like well done.
Thank
Amazing.
you so much. Thank you.
And so the reason we were going to jump on a video call is we've obviously been having lots of inquiries about updating your will and power of attorney and estate planning, particularly all our family law clients. And I noticed I'm coming across a lot of the same questions. And so I thought lockdown's the perfect opportunity for us to maybe do a series of little videos that explain that whole estate planning space, which can be quite confusing. Don't you think? Well, you probably don't because you've got a master's degree, but for everyone else.
No, it can definitely be really confusing. And now is as good a time as ever to have a look at estate planning and have a think about it. It's often one of those things that we know we really want to do, or it's one of those things we're going to get to, but we never actually get to it. So it's a really good opportunity now, by when perhaps we've got a little bit more time at home to have a good chat and to have a think about what estate planning is and what it really means.
Absolutely. Do you know what? I've never changed my name since I got married, and I've been married 10 years this year. So I think that is where the wheels fall. You need to get it done, but it's just so low priority, especially once you're a mum and you've got all of the things, you just put it so low. But why is a will so important? I mean, we hear people banging on about it, but why is it so important?
Well, ultimately, the reason why you want a will is because you want to be empowered to make choice. You really want to choose, where all the things that are going to form your estate when you pass away, where that goes and whom that goes to. The law has essentially a formula that it applies when someone passes away without a will. And what that's called is intestacy. So we want to avoid that. We want to make sure that people are actually, choosing where their property goes. That's important. It's everything that someone has. And when it comes to loved ones, you want to make sure that they're getting what you feel they should be getting.
Yeah, and you no doubt would have seen people who have passed away without a will in that intestate. And it no doubt just causes such an additional layer of stress and anxiety for the family members trying to navigate all of those complicated issues.
It can definitely be complicated, and most times it's not in accordance with what someone would genuinely wish or hope that their estate was going to be divided as such. So yeah, it's definitely important that we make sure people understand that by having a will, they do have the choice.
And so why can't I just pop down to the post office post-lockdown, or it might be an essential service, and go pick up a will kit? I think I even have one in the office. I saw one the other day. I should have brought it on the screen. I said one of those little will kits. Are they good, aren't they? Why shouldn't we be just using one of those?
Look, we strongly recommend that that's not the way to go. When it comes to a will, there's so many different considerations. And professional advice is really important because there might be different things that you need to consider. There might be things like family provision issues, where certain classes of people might have the potential to make a claim on your estate, and getting advice means that you're aware and understand those issues and can make an informed choice. There's things like appointing an executor, who is going to be the person who manages and administers your estate. There things you might want to include something as to the guardianship of your children, burial wishes, and there's many layers to a good will, and that's what a lawyer is going to take you through. They're going to try and establish layers so that no matter what the situation, your estate is going to go to those persons who you would like it to go to. And that comes back to that choice. So yeah, we really, really recommend you get professional advice, and don't go down to the post office and get that type of will. It's not going to help you, and it's going to cause some problems and potentially be more costly in the long term.
Absolutely. It's like my husband watching YouTube videos on how to change the washers at home. I mean, he's watched the video a few times and it's ended up costing us more because he's buying all these different washers and then the plumber had to come anyway. So we actually paid more in the long run. And so I think,
Everyone's been
oh,
through
it
it.
looks easy enough. I can just do that myself. But the reality is you don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. And I think particularly with something so important as this, like you said, all of your worldly possessions that you've worked so hard for, and you want to provide for those loved ones in your life. You mentioned a few words, which I'm sure a lot of people probably heads might be spinning. We don't all have a master's degree in wills and estates. So there's a lot of terms thrown around like power of attorney, enduring guardian, appointing a guardian. What are those things and what are the differences between the three of them?
Yeah, it can get a bit technical, but when we're talking about estate planning, we're not just talking about a will. We're talking about the things that might go into a will, and we're talking about some additional documents too. So a couple of the things that you mentioned are an enduring power of attorney. An enduring power of attorney is a document that would form part of an estate plan, and it essentially appoints one or more people to make financial decisions for someone at a certain point. And often that point is when they have lost capacity, but they may choose it to start earlier or on some certain event occurring. So that's that document. Then there's also, as you mentioned, an enduring guardian document. And similarly, that document would come into effect during someone's lifetime only when they lost capacity. And that was appointing someone to make health and lifestyle decisions for them. So the other thing that you mentioned, Kristal, was appointing a guardian for your children. So we've got guardian in different capacities here, and it is quite confusing. But in relation to appointing a guardian for your children, that's something that would go in your will, and it's often when someone is trying to sort of figure out how they would manage something. Often, if they had lost their spouse. And they're dealing with who they would like to appoint to be the guardian and care for their minor child or children.
So really important stuff.
And big stuff there, absolutely.
How do you make the decision to appoint a guardian of your children? Your most worldly possessions, well, not possessions, but loves. How do you have any tips or tricks on how someone could go about making that decision?
It's a hugely personal decision, and it's a very, very complex decision to navigate because there's a lot of different things to think about. And because it's so complex, I've actually put together 8 steps or 8 considerations in a document to help clients figure out what is going to be a good choice for them. And I will pop that one up for clients who are interested. But what I would like to say now is that there's a range of different things that you should be looking at. Things like values. Do your values align? It's important that they're going to be making choices that sit well for you. Things such as, are they good with managing money? Because they are going to be dealing with trust money that's there for the care and maintenance of your children. So there's some really big ticket issues. Absolutely. There needs to be a lot of trust. But again, we could chat about this for a long time. So I'd highly recommend anyone who's thinking about this, is going through the process of trying to make this decision to reach out, and we can send them this resource which will help them navigate it.
Yeah. And for anyone wanting to navigate the whole area of estates, you actually offer all of our clients or potential clients a free 15-minute discovery call, completely obligation free, but just an opportunity to sort of clarify some of these areas further. Is that right?
Absolutely. Yes. We offer a 15-minute free complimentary discovery call to our prospective clients because We offer a bespoke service. We want to know what their unique needs are, and that doesn't happen unless we actually connect and have a chat and find out what's really going on in someone's life, and then we can give them some advice as to what an estate plan would look like. Sometimes we require some additional help from things like financial planners, depending on what's going on. So we offer that real personalized service.